Hey everyone, welcome to the Decorative Den, a look inside my craft room where I share all things crafting, planning, and cross stitch. My name is Charity and I am so happy to have you here with me today for Flosstube number 5. It has been a while. I am getting off of a 2-month break and I just looked back and realized I have not filmed a Flosstube video since January. So I have 5 months worth of stitching to share with you today, and it might be a long one. So definitely grab yourself a beverage. We might be here a while. I'm so excited to share the projects I have with you. I have a lot of fun personal stitching to share with you, and I'm super excited to announce that I have opened a Ko-fi shop and have started playing around with designing cross-stitch patterns. And so today I'm going to share with you my first 3 releases, the first 3 patterns I've designed, and one of them's a freebie, so definitely stick around so you can see those and hear more about getting your freebie. And yeah, I'm just excited to talk cross-stitch with you guys. So if you are interested in all of that, then just keep watching. All right, so as I said, I have a lot to share with you today, and I'm going to just jump right in and try not to spend too much time on each individual piece, just so we can keep today's video moving. But I am going to start with my own designs that I'm just so excited to share and offer to you. And the first one is this little guy. This is called Patchwork Pond, and I was kind of inspired by beautiful quilt blocks and wanted to create something that kind of looked very like patchwork PC quilt like, but I have some cute little lily pads, frogs, dragonflies, things that tie in the pond theme. So this stitch is on 14 count Phantom Ada by Picture This Plus, and it is a square pattern, so it's 50 by 50 for the stitch count, and I used 5 different DMC colors. It's all DMC, and I framed it here in a standard 4x4 frame. I did put a little batting underneath mine, which was totally unnecessary because once I got it in the frame, I realized like my finish is a little puffy. But overall, it's super cute. This was the first pattern that I saw all the way through from design to stitching to finished product and was like, I like this enough to share it with people. So this is a really special stitch for me, and I think it is such a cute little summer pattern. My next 2 releases are kind of, I call them companion pieces. They use the same color floss, and I think they display really well together. So I'll start with the big one. And this is framed with glass, so hopefully the glare is not terrible. Yeah, okay, hopefully the glare is not terrible, and if it is, I'll insert a picture in editing so you can actually see the stitch. But this piece is called Ode to Oaks, and I just absolutely love acorns and squirrels, and I think oak trees are just so beautiful. Strong old growth trees. And so I knew I wanted to design something that centered around acorns. And I was really inspired by traditional band samplers. And I wanted to do something with repeating motifs in kind of that band format. So this stitch is on a 14 count Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart, and it uses 6 DMC colors. It's 60 inches wide and 90 inches high, and I have it here framed with a mat that's 5 by 7, and by that I mean it is truly like exactly 5 inches or 5 inches by 7 inches. I think in order to get this piece to fit nicely in a standard 5 by 7 frame or a 5 by 7 mat, you really need to stitch it on 16 count just to make sure you have enough fabric around the edges. Mine only fits because I have this really weird mat that is exactly 5x7, and I find most standard frames have to, right, there's the little lip on the frame that actually holds your image in there, and so they're slightly smaller than a true 5x7. And so I think if you were to stitch this and want to frame it in a 5x7 frame or mat, 16 count would be my recommendation. But I think these colors just pop on the vintage country mocha, and I'm just so pleased with how this turned out. So now to go along with that, I did create a freebie pattern, and this is my third release here. And this one is called Humble Acorn, and I have it finished here just as a little round ornament. I used Helen D's ornament tutorial, which if I can remember, I'll try to link it below, because I swear the only reason I know how to finish any cross stitch things are because I watch Helen's tutorials. But I'm just so grateful that so many designers in the cross stitch community put out free designs. I stitch many free designs, and I think it's a way to make the craft very accessible to people. And so I knew when I started designing that I wanted to create and offer free patterns. And so my hope going forward is that every major release I do will include at least one free pattern. And so this is my first freebie. And again, I just love acorns, and so I knew I wanted to do something centered around a little acorn. This, just like the Ode to Oaks pattern, is on 14 count vintage country mocha, and it uses the same 6 DMC colors as the previous chart. And like I said, I think they display really well together, but this one is a freebie, and so definitely, I would be so grateful if you are interested and want to just check out my Ko-fi page, and look at what I have on there, even if you don't want anything, but definitely get the freebie, right? Like, if anything, get the freebie, because just like any support and having you here, it means so much to me. The fact that I get to just like create things and share my love of crafting with others is so special to me. And so, I'm really happy to have you here, and that I get to do these things and have it feel meaningful in some way. But yeah, those are my 3 original designs, and a good chunk of what I was working on while I was away these past 2 months was kind of stitching my models and finalizing those projects to get them ready to release to you. Now, to jump into all my other personal stitching, I think I have oh my gosh, 15 other projects to share with you because it's been so long. So I have 2 FFOs that I want to share with you. Okay, so the first is Rowdy J, which is a pattern from Max Pigeon's Cross Stitch in the Forest book. Max Pigeon is the owner of Pigeon Coop Designs, and this was the first thing I ever stitched from this book, and I did it as the Flew the Coop Sal, I think, that went on in December of 2024. Of course, do I not have this page marked anymore? Well, it doesn't matter. I have the finished product for you anyway. So it's from this book, and here is my finish. Again, this is framed under glass, and so if there's a really weird glare, I'll insert a picture so you can actually see the finished product. But I stitched this on an 18 count fiddler's cloth by Charles Craft. I believe the called for was a 14 count, but I did mine a little smaller because I knew I wanted to put it in this frame. And so this is just a frame I got at Goodwill, and I found a nice mat for it. And I'm pretty sure this is a 4x6 mat, and I think it just came out so great. I have it taped in here because it's a little puffy. It doesn't fully fit in the frame. But my hope is in the next couple days I'll add some hanging, some kind of hanging, what would you call that, hardware to the back of this, and I will hang this up in my room since I have a lot of blues in that room, and I think it is just such a sweet little finish. And I mean, Max Pigeon's designs are always awesome. And if I didn't mention this, stitched this with DMC threads. Most of them are called for. However, I did just kind of stitch my stash for this one. And so I know some of the things are not the same, like definitely the brown, one of the browns in the stick is not called for. I'm pretty sure one of the blues is not called for. But if I did have the called for, I did use it. So it's mostly called for, I would say. But that was my first FFO for personal stitching. And then my second one I am so jazzed about. It is called Fabric and Flosstube, and this is a freebie from Helen D, or East Coast Crafter is the name of her website. But I just am so happy with how this turned out. So this is another Goodwill frame, and this is one that I saw back like around Christmas time actually, and I asked my husband to get it for me for Christmas because when I saw the ruler, I immediately thought this pattern, and I was like, this would be so cute with a little stitching themed piece in it. And because the ruler was so bright, I felt like the called for floss just looked too muted in here. And so I did pick my own colors for this, and I had to modify the pattern slightly just to get it to fit in this frame. So I'll pop a picture of the original pattern and Helen's model of it so you can see what it originally looks like. So I didn't do a one-to-one conversion, but if you are interested in the colors I used, I will list them down in the description. They're all DMC, and I did this on a 14 count black Aida, again, just to kind of tie into the bold red and black of the frame. And I'm just so thrilled with how this turned out. Again, it is just taped in there. It is some not the best finishing, I'll say that, but it's okay. This is just going to be displayed in my craft room for me, so it did not need to be perfect. But yeah, that is my second FFO. Moving on, I do have four finishes. So let me grab those real quick. So this is my first finish, and this is Potatoes and Molasses by Clodwig. I think it's Lycothers. I'll put it on the screen. But this was one I was working on in my last Flosstube, I'm pretty sure, back in January. I showed this, and at the time, I think I really only had like the letters in this top corner done, but I did, after filming that, like really worked on this, and I'm pretty sure I finished this in early February, and it was just such a fun and quick stitch. It is, of course, over the garden wall inspired, and I'm going to hang it in my craft room along with another piece that you'll see later in this video. But it is all DMC thread, and what did I do this on? This is also on 14 count vintage country mocha. Yeah, I definitely went through a vintage country mocha phase back in February and March. Like everything I wanted to stitch, I kept being like, oh, vintage country mocha would be good for that. But I did pick some other fabric just so not everything would be on the same. But I think it looks really good on here. The only thing I kind of wish I would have changed was I wish I would have done these letters in a brighter color, like maybe switch them to white, just so they'd be a little easier to see. But again, because this is going to be in my craft room and it's just for me, I'm not going back and changing it. It's pretty darn cute as is. So that was Potatoes and Molasses. My next finish is another one you've seen before, and I don't think I showed it in January though. It might have been in my previous one, which I think was like November or something of 2024. But, oh, let me get the pattern. Sorry, you can tell I haven't filmed in a while. I'm a little rusty. But this next finish is from this vintage pattern book. This is Halloween Silhouettes by Forever Friends Needlework Designs. This is a pattern I got off eBay in a Halloween lot, and I just love them. They're all these little dark silhouettes, just plain black, monochromatic. And I stitched mine on a 14 count pumpkin by Fiber on a Whim, and so I decided to do 5 of the designs, And so the first one's here. It's this sweet little spider. And then the others are all in one piece. So I did the jack-o'-lantern, the trick-or-treat bag, the bat in front of the moon, and the cute little sheet ghost. So they are pretty stinking adorable. So I did 5 of them, and my plan is that I'm going to finish these all as round, I guess they wouldn't really be ornaments, but little rounds, and then I'm going to hang them, string them together to make a banner or like garland of some sort that I can hang from my mantle at Halloween time. So I think they came out super cute. There are more little patterns like in that book, and I kind of want to do the witch themed ones, like the witch, the black cat, the cauldron on a green or a purple fabric, but that'll be that'll be a future thing, like next year or something. I'm just happy to have these ones done, and I'm very excited to get my garland ready for Halloween time. Moving on, my next 2 finishes are kind of related, or at least I stitched them to be companion pieces. So I stitched both of these in February. When I realized I have like no Valentine's decorations, mainly because, you know, my husband and I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. It's never been a big thing, but I found that with my daughter, I really do like putting out seasonal holiday decor. It's something my mom always did. It makes it feel special, like as you go through the year and the seasons. And so I really wanted to start putting out some Valentine stuff. And because I had nothing, I decided that I would use the month of February to stitch a couple Valentine's Day themed pieces so I'd have them for next year. And both of these are freebie patterns from Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. Oh man, that's a tongue twister. But Pinker and Pumpkin. So this one is her Lovebirds freebie, and this one is Love Note stamp. And I did my own colors for this. I kind of pulled things that were somewhat similar to hers, but really I just pulled from Stash. And I just did these on a plain 14 count white Aida, like nothing special at all. But I didn't think they needed to be special, right? They were just meant to be quick little freebies, and I think they are so cute. This Lovebirds one is so precious. I'm pretty sure her original design, there was more of this vine that went underneath, and there might have even been something over here, but I ended up just doing the word love and a few of the birds to keep mine small. And then the love stamp, I did the whole thing. Like this is the whole design. So that one I did completely. And my plan for both of these is to finish them as little foam block stand-ups and display them together next year. I just need to cut down some foam, and I've kind of been putting that off because cutting styrofoam is the worst. I love foam block finishes. It's super simple, and they're like really cute and lightweight and like perfect for storing and decorating, but cutting foam is a nightmare. So we'll see. Hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll do that, and by the next time we talk I'll be able to show you the finished products. But for now I have these as finishes, and I think they are super cute. And if I didn't say yet, I'll make sure to link everything below, especially the freebie patterns, so that way if you find one that you like and want to stitch, you'll be able to get those. So moving on to some new starts that are all still works in progress. So the first one is from this book, Magical Cross Stitch, and this is by Lindsay of Tuscan Cardinal. And this is Magical Cross Stitch 25 Witchy Projects to Enchant Your Home. And the one I started is this one, Dark Familiar. And it's this cute little goat, or I guess little demonic goat. Just standing on a hill in front of like a barn. And I love the moon phases at the top. And then at the bottom it does say familiar with the flowers. I think I'm going to change it and not have familiar at the bottom and instead just do a row full of flowers, but we'll see. I'm not there yet. So I stitched this on Oh, where is it? Here we go. Here's the front. So I'm stitching this on, I think it's a 14 count. It looks like it. Let me see. Did I write it down anywhere? It's definitely not a 14 count. I am doing this on an 18 count Ada from Picture This Plus, and this is Barnwood. So it's this really nice brown. It actually has a lot of purpley red tones in it, which made me think Halloween. And so far, I just have a little bit of the goat. I did not get very far on this project, but I started it because I was looking forward to just doing a nice monochromatic project. I'd finished up those silhouettes, and I really enjoyed working with just DMC 310. So I decided this would be a good one to start, and I'm in no rush to finish this one, so I imagine I probably won't pick this up again until the fall when I'm just looking to do something more Halloween or fall, you know, creepy feeling. But that's all I have so far on Dark Familiar. Okay, my next new start is one that I feel like everybody on Flosstube is doing, and that is the Nature's Journey Sal by Sprouting Lupine. Here is the spring release, which is the part I'm still on. So I am doing this on a 14 count Ada, and I believe it's just, is it Dirty Ada? I think so. Dirty Ada by Zweigart. So this is what I have so far, and I definitely did not iron my fabric, so it is kind of a hot mess, but let's try to fold the ugly parts away so you can see what I've done. So I started up here at the top corner and just worked my way across, and so for this release so far, I just have to do like the bird's nest, and there's a couple other floral designs down through here, and then there's like the moth in the center. Each season has a moth. But I got a good chunk of this done, and this was the thing I worked on almost monogamously throughout the month of April. I picked it up and just focused on it. I didn't have a lot of stitching time in April and May, which is kind of why I took some time off. I just knew it was going to be crazy 2 months. So when I did find stitching time, this is what I worked on, and I got pretty far. I am really looking forward to picking this up again. I thought this was such a fun stitch. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I can't wait to finish spring and start summer, so I definitely think I will be picking this up again in the next couple weeks. But that is where I'm at with the Nature's Journey Sal. Next up, I have another start from Max Pigeon's Cross Stitch in the Forest. This one I will try to find for you because my start is small. But I am working on this stitch, which is called Deer Trail. And I love that is just all shades of green. So beautiful with the deer silhouette. And this I'm actually working on as a present for someone who doesn't watch these videos, so I can share it with you. But yeah, this is all I have so far, which is not much. But I started at the top. I've only used one of the DMC colors so far, and my plan was kind of just to color complete each shade of green, and so I think that's what I'm going to do. Essentially, I just started at the top of the pattern. I'm working down that one main tree branch. I'll do the bottom of the pattern, and then I'll move on to the next color. So I need to have this done by, well, I would say by the beginning of September, so I have time to frame it. So this will be something I focus on a little more this summer, and hopefully you will see a finished piece at the end of the summer. All right, my next project is still in the Q-Snap, and this was a May start for me, and really I only worked on it for one night. It was one of those things where I just knew I wanted to start it in May, and so I made sure I did it before the month was over. But I started this RTO kit called Wish Tree. This was a kit that my mother-in-law got me for Christmas. It was on my 1, 2, 3 stitch wish list because everything about this pattern just makes me think of my daughter. And so it's going to be a really sweet, sentimental stitch. My daughter's birthday is in May. And so that's why I knew I wanted to do it as a May start. And this is all I have, which looks like nothing. So basically, I'm just doing this orange in her dress right here. That's where I started. And like I said, this was just one night of stitching for me. So I left it in the Q-snap and I plan to stitch on it more. I'd like to get a little further in the dress. I mean, honestly, it would be awesome if I could finish this orange color in the dress before putting it away. But this is another project that's really like a long-term project for me. I think I have no plans of completing it in 2025. It'll definitely be a 2026 carryover. And so there's really no rush. This is one that I think I just want to really enjoy and live in the process of stitching it. And it is on I think the kit came with a 16 count. Does it say? It looks like a 16 count. I'm going to say 16 count based on what it looks like. So it came with a 16 count and it is a printed Ada. So this beautiful purple design is printed on the front and I'm super excited. Also, how cute is this needle minder? This little owl. It's like the perfect color palette for this. And this was just a button that I had in my craft stash. And so I turned it into a needle minder. And I used the tutorial from Cross Stitch the Globe. That's another one I'll try to remember to link because I have been on a kick of making my own needle minders. I will show you next floss tube what I've made because there's too many and there's already enough stitching in this video to show you. But if you haven't made your own needle minders, it is surprisingly super simple and a lot of fun. So that is Wish Tree. And then my last new start is one that I started a couple days ago and have been trying to just like plow right through. And it is the 4th of July round. It is the June freebie from Primrose Cottage. So this is where I am right now. I'm going to put a picture on the screen of what it looks like. But basically, sign up for the Primrose Cottage newsletter if you have not yet. Do it because every month they send a new freebie and they are all so cute. They're like really good freebies. Again, it was like it's kind of like Valentine's Day. I realized I just didn't have a lot of 4th of July stuff, and I was looking for a small round stitch to turn into an ornament that I could display on this tiny little shelf I have that has a small hook in my kitchen. And so the pattern itself is quite large. I think on an 18 count, it's still like 4 inches wide. Which is a little bigger than what I need for this ornament. So I think I am just going to stitch this center part of the design and I'm going to leave off the flags and other things, even though they are all super cute. I think I'm going to leave mine as a very small ornament and that way I'll finish it like in the next day and can have it hanging and up for the rest of the month and up through the 4th of July. But yeah, that is 4th of July round. Again, by Primrose Cottage. If you're watching this in June, sign up now because you can still get that as a freebie if you're signed up for the newsletter in June. Okay, I only have 2 more projects to share with you. We are getting there. And these 2 are both whips from 2024 that I carried over. They are ones that you have definitely seen before if you've watched any of my other Flosstube videos. So the first is Haunted Cuckoo Clock by Tiny Modernist. This was her 2024 Halloween Sal, and this was my birthday present last year from my husband because he is so sweet and thoughtful. And here it is. It is in the Q-snap because I am currently working on it. But essentially I have part 1 was this clock face, part 2 was the bottom of the house, and now I'm working on the 3rd release, which is the top of the house, and then the 4th is like the bottom part of the clock. I Do I have a printout of this one? Oh gosh, okay. Well, of course I only have the part 3 release printed. So this is what I'm working on, this top part up here, and then I'll insert a picture of the full design so you can see what the whole thing will look like. But I am doing mine on a 16 count spiderweb printed Aida, and this is from Fabric Flair. This is, the spiderweb design is called for. Let me think. I think the called for is actually like the linen equivalent, but I am an Aida stitcher at this point in my stitching journey. So I have the 16 count Aida, and I'm using all of the called for DMC threads, and this is just Halloween goodness. You know, it's like everything I love about just classic Halloween. So as I said, this was a 2024 start for me, and I'm coming up on a year of working on it. So I would like to finish this summer because I have high hopes of having this framed and as the centerpiece on my mantle for Halloween. So I'm really hoping that happens. That's why I'm working on it now, because that is like one of my main goals. And then my last whip is one you've seen many times, and that is Dance 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 by Mama Witch Cross Stitch. This is another over the garden wall inspired piece. Let's see. Here's what it looks like. Like, oh my gosh, so cute. Little pumpkin lady and a frog dancing together. So cute. So the last time I showed you this, I had, oops, it's all bent here. But I think the last time I showed you this, the pumpkin was done, and I might have had just like these mushrooms and a flower done. So I did spend a good chunk of time working on adding some more of the florals and bugs and things and working my way up. And this was a whip go call a couple months ago for me, and I didn't do it, so I owe myself this. But this is a hard pattern for me because I love this so much. I really want it finished, but I usually stitch at night once my daughter's gone to bed, and it is really hard to stitch on black Aida at night in low lighting in my bed. Which is where I stitch. So it takes me a long time to do this one. But hopefully I'll get some progress on it soon. Right now I don't have it in the Q-snap or anything because I want to focus on the cuckoo clock sal right now because I really need that done by Halloween. But that'll, you know, Dance 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 will come out again. That's another one that I'm doing in all the called for floss, and the called for fabric is a 14 count black Aida. So all called fors with that one, and eventually it'll be done and it'll be beautiful, and I will display that one and the potatoes and molasses together as a little over the garden wall tribute. But yeah, that'll do it for all of the stitching I have. I guess little life update and plans. I don't really have much of a life update other than, you know, I took 2 months off, and thank you for being patient with me during that time. If you know, stuck around during that time till I posted again, thank you so much. If you found my channel during that time while I wasn't posting and are watching now, thank you. It's so good to have you here. I try to upload videos every 2 weeks, and in the past I uploaded Flosstube videos every 2 months. So I would like, just because I'm a slow stitcher and I wanted to have stuff to show you. However, stitching is definitely my main hobby right now, and so I think moving forward I want to try to do a Flosstube update every month. So a monthly update is my goal, and I just love, hold on, this is boring looking at my hands, so let me put here. Let's put some cute stuff on the table for you to look at. But yeah, so I because this is my main hobby, and I really have been enjoying this style of video, kind of like a craft show and tell versus a tutorial or craft with me. I've been liking that. They're easier to film for me, and so I would like to bump these up to monthly cross-stitch updates. And again, I'm hoping to go back to releasing videos every 2 weeks or so, because I miss you guys. I miss crafting and sharing stuff, and the summer is generally a calmer time for me, and so this is a good time to work on all of my craft projects and crafty goals. And one of my big goals for this summer is I want to learn how to sew. I got a sewing machine for Christmas, and I have not done anything with it yet because life has just been busy, but now I'm going to have time in the summer to sit down and teach myself how to use my machine, and I really want to start sewing. And so I anticipate in some of these future videos I'll have some stitching stuff to share as well as a few sewing things to share, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that stuff because I know a lot of you are multi-crafters and I definitely need help and advice, I think, when I start sewing. But yeah, those are my biggest plans. And aside from that, I'm going to continue designing, and I'm super excited to release more patterns for you in the future. Again, please go to my Ko-fi and get yourself this free pattern. And if you like any of the other patterns, snag those too. If you do end up stitching anything I've created, I would love to see it. I am no longer on Instagram. I deleted my Instagram because it just wasn't healthy for me anymore. So if you do stitch something, please email me a picture. I will put my email here on the screen. That's also the best way to reach me. So either message me or not message, YouTube comments or email. That's the best way to reach me. And again, I'd love to see your stitches if you do stitch any of these patterns. But thank you again so much for being here, for sticking around through my break. I had a lot of fun talking stitching with you, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye, guys.